A very good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to Vogan's European Outlook for Saturday, the 30th of July. The CFSV2, this is for the month of August, and it's interesting how the 500 millibar geopotential height anomaly chart shows an area of high pressure centered almost bang slap over the British Isles. Now, of course, that would certainly entail a dry theme, and as you can see here, that the model, according to the latest run anyway, indicates a fairly dry outlook for the UK, for Ireland, for much of Central Europe. Interestingly enough, we're now starting to see a little bit of wetter than normal conditions showing up across more southern portions of the continent, and of course, no surprise, the 2 meter temperature anomaly chart indicates a warmer than normal outlook overall for the continent as well as the UK and Ireland here. But certainly over the next several days, we're going to be talking about an outlook which, well, certainly favours unsettled conditions. Very dry across the southeastern half of the country at this moment in time, and of course that setup certainly would allow for some significant heat to come north. But at this moment in time, it looks as if the modelling is tending to see this continued fight between cool coming in from the north and warmth coming up from the south. And that cool is winning the battle over the UK. So as you can see here, this is the latest run of the ECMWF. We're going to have a look at that today instead of the GFS. And you can see here a very messy picture through this afternoon and into the day tomorrow. We've got an area of low pressure in place, cloud cover, outbreaks of rain, longer spells of rain, shower activity as well. And, you know, we're having a bit of a hard time trying to get some of that rain into the driest areas of the UK, which, of course, is the southeast and up the eastern side of England at this moment in time. You know, not faring too badly the further west and north you head. The soils have received a little bit more in the way of moisture up here. So that system clears away, and then we're left with another system coming in for the open to August, as you can see here. Another fairly substantial area of low pressure with its arm of rain moving across west to east, keeping things fairly fresh, fairly unsettled. Showers, longer spells of rain, windy conditions as well. Temperatures always warmest the further south you go. And there is some milder, if not warmer, getting drafted in on the southern flank of this area of low pressure. So while it may be cloudy, breezy, even wet, we're seeing temperatures reasonably mild at the 850 millibar level here. Let's have a look at the 850 chart. Let's actually have a look at the anomaly actually for 850, and you can see what we're looking at here. So like I say, it's not a cold flow. We've got plenty of air that's warm wrapped around this circulation here. So warm and unsettled is probably the theme you could go with through the early portion of the week. And then notice, and the GFS ensemble is kind of hinting at the same thing, once our system pushes through, we actually draw down some fairly cool air from the north here, wipes out the heat, and you notice here that this is going slightly against what some of the more recent runs are suggesting here. So it looks as if it's not going to show quite like a thought here, unfortunately, but you can certainly see the overview chart here indicating winds coming in from the northwest, so to speak here. So yeah, somewhat unsettled through the early portion of August, as you can see. Low pressure over the Norwegian Sea, high pressure to the west over the Atlantic, and we are in a northwesterly airflow, keeping temperatures subdued for the time of the year, which is quite interesting. And it's interesting seeing this open to August. We've seen it in June, we've seen it in July, and we're now seeing it in the month of August. This fairly fresh, changeable, below normal start to the month overall here. So certainly worth keeping an eye on this type of scenario here. Let's have a very quick look at the GFS and see what it's showing here for the beginning of the month here. And you can see one system moving out through the course of today and tomorrow. Then we're left with another system coming in off the Atlantic during the course of Monday. That system pushes through. Again, like I say, warm across the far south of Wales and across the southern portion of England. Could see temperatures reaching the mid to even high 20s actually with this setup, because the reason being is if we look at the 850 chart here of the GFS, and you can see here plenty of milder, on the southern flank of the circulation. Still pulses of heat coming into Spain, Portugal, France. We could see some very, very warm temperatures indeed moving up into France during the early portion of the new work week. But all the while here, you can see that northwesterly flow dragging in temperatures of freezing at 850. That certainly subdues the temperature down at the surface over at least the north and western half of the UK here, and we get a little bit of that warmth clipping the southeast corner of the UK here. So very much a distinct northwest to southwest, northwest to southeast divide in the pattern here. Little in the way of rainfall, I think, across the southern half of the UK. We're seeing plenty of rain, I think, further north as we go forward here. Let's have a look at the CFSV2 weeklies, if they're not updating that is, and see what that's showing real quick. So the upcoming 7 days looks like this here. Below normal temperatures across the north of Scotland, firmly warmer than normal across much of England and Wales. As you can see here, the track of these areas of low pressure mean that we're staying in the fresher air across the north, but these areas of low pressure with the centre passing to the north means that we're in that warm sector on the southern flank here. Plenty of heat to speak about across Spain, Portugal, France, Low Countries, Germany, Alpine region. Much of the heart of Europe is still very, very warm indeed. We could see temperatures back well into the 40s in Spain, possibly knocking the door of 40 across parts of southwest France as well. And, it wouldn't surprise me if we start flirting with the 30-degree mark across the southeastern half of the UK here. Notice here week 2, 6th through the 13th of August, warmer than normal now starting up here further north across the UK. Week 3, warmer than normal. Week 4, warmer than normal as well. So that's quite interesting to see. Let's have a quick look at the precipitation anomaly here as well to see what it's showing. So wetter than normal, as you can see here across the north of England, much of Scotland here. But again, like I say, the driest portion of the UK, it seems to be holding on to that dry theme. Those areas of low pressure passing a little bit too far to the north. According to the CMWF and the GFS, those latest runs keeping the wettest conditions away from the driest portions of the country here. And then, of course, week 2, according to the CFSV2, very dry compared to normal here. So the dry outlook remains. And of course, we're watching the Manjulian Oscillation progress from Africa through the Indian Ocean into the western portion of the Pacific Ocean. If it does so, we may start to see into week 2 some of that heat trying to move towards the British Isles here. But of course, all the ingredients have to come together, so to speak here. Finally, let's have a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly chart here and see what it's showing here. So week 1 indicates a negative to the north, high pressure to the south here, so warm versus cool. Week 2, you notice here that we've got a fairly strong area of high pressure now centered over the northern half of the British Isles, hence why we've got some very dry conditions for the period 6th through the 13th of August here. So we'll continue to watch this as we go forward. I do appreciate you watching today. Thanks for your comments and your view. Please, I want to thank also Lindsay and Spock's daughter for the very kind super thanks. I do really appreciate it. I was a little bit late in thanking folk because I didn't happen to notice it, unfortunately. So please do forgive me for not thanking you before now, but certainly Spock's daughter and Lindsay, thank you very much for your kind donations. It is really appreciated. But if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to watch this interesting pattern as we go into the third and final month of meteorological summer 2022. Bye for now.